he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs or see a doctor today for an autism screening. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better. And it can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
90.3 WHPC.
Welcome back to Your Family's Health. This is Dr. Jeanine Cook-Gerard, and I'm here with Tiffany and Samantha, nursing students. And we're welcoming our guest back, Edie Littlefield Sundby, talking about her book, The Mission Walker. Welcome back, Edie.
Thank you.
We have a question for you.
So tell us about your cancer today.
Today, I went back to Stanford Cancer Center. I go back every 3 to 4 months for CT scans and often PET scans. We keep a very close eye on it because as long as we can discover it when it's 1 or 2 tumors and keep on top of it that way instead of because, once it gets in the lungs, it can explode very, very quickly. And I only have 1 lung left. So we keep a very close eye on it. And right now, today, there are no growing tumors that we are aware of. I have some dark spots on the scans, but we don't know if that's scar tissue, and we don't know if that's inflammation. And one of the things about scans and doctors and medicine in general is it's not always a science that we think it is. They don't have definitive answers. A lot of treatment, a lot of medicine is still art.
So what is your prognosis today?
My prognosis is I'm considered to be in remission. And Dr. Fisher, they're very reluctant to use the word cure with late-stage cancer, especially someone like me, where it's come back 4 different times. They're reluctant to use the word cure. But like Dr. Fisher says, all a cure is a remission that lasts forever.
So let's rewind back to when the cancer came back in your remaining left lung. You went to Mexico, where the mission trail began, to walk another 2 months and 800 miles. Did you know it would be so extreme in these harsh conditions?
The down south of the border is in the wilds of Mexico. It's the Sonoran Desert, and there are 6 sierras there. And I knew intellectually intellectually what the challenge was going to be because no one had really done this for 250 years. And the old mission trail down there is pretty much unmapped and pretty much forgotten, except by the people who actually, the Caros, the ranchos, the people of the Sierras who actually live along the old mission trail. And so I intellectually understood that. I read every journal. I looked at all the old maps from gold prospectors, from explorers, from naturalists, from the missionaries, and from even some of the Spanish expeditions. So I had an idea of, but you never really know. We have no clue until we actually find ourselves in the situation. And so when I went down there, it was a walk of faith. I didn't know who the vaqueros, the cowboys, would be who would show me and be a guide along this old trail. I did not know where the mules would come from or pack horses, pack animals, because the only way to do this was with pack animals. These are not roads. These are trails through mountains.
Who was with you in Mexico? What was on the packed mules, and what were the hardest parts?
On the packed mule, I was Dr. Fisher's physician's assistant, Annie Johnson, had picked me up. She's a wilderness survival doctor. She's a physician's assistant. She's a DO, and she had fixed me up with. She had what's called Dr. Donner's emergency medical survival kit. Just about every kind of medicine possible for anything that might happen to you. For example, what if a mule kicked me in the head? What if a rattlesnake? What if I was bit by a rattlesnake? What if I ate something that was bad? what if. There were just 1,000 what ifs, and I had almost as much medicine with me as I did pesos. But I never took one pill, and which was so phenomenal because out in the desert there is no water, and where there is water, you have to drink it. And I have drank out of swamp water in the desert. Wow. Next to a mule, and never had any kind of gastrointestinal disruptions.
Wow. You didn't carry water with you?
I carried water with me, yes, but again, this is 970 miles. It's 800 miles as a crow flies along the old Mission Trail. But you do a lot of switchbacks and curvebacks, especially on the mountains. And so it was 972 miles as recorded by a GPS phone that I had, emergency phone. So, you need a lot of water, and and you have to be very careful with your water. I was amazed at what I could do with 1 cup of water. So and one thing I discovered in this 2 months that it took down in Mexico to follow the old Mission Trail is I discovered that when we have nothing, we are grateful for everything.
Wow. So in terms of nutrients, what did you eat?
Eating was often a problem. An old prospector once wrote in a journal, he said, hunger is the best sauce. And I found that to be the case. The ranchos along the way, sometimes every 2 or 3 days we would reach a rancho, and they're very, very poor, but I would buy tortillas, and I had some canned Spam, I had some of these military meals ready to eat, the dried food, but I found that the cowboys, the vaqueros wouldn't eat the stuff, and it took water, meals ready to eat, you had to pour water in it often, and we really didn't have a lot of water to spare, but we did what we could, and oftentimes in the desert with soaring temperatures above 100, tortillas and food will turn green and black and mold in a matter of hours sometimes, but that was okay. Hunger is the best sauce, and what we had, we ate. And one thing that cancer had taught me is when you think you can't go on, you can.
Do you recommend other cancer patients to do this mission?
I don't. I'm just telling you what I did in my book, The Mission Walker, what I did. And what I did is not unique. I have 2 feet. I love to walk. I chose to walk the old Mission Trail, the 1,600-mile Mission Trail, for healing. And to keep my lung inflated and to keep as vitally as alive as I possibly can, because I have worked so hard to stay alive. I want to live while alive.
And if there's somebody listening today that may be going through a difficult time in their own life, what would you say that might offer some hope?
Well, I believe that life is mystery, and cancer is still, with everything we know about it, is still 99% mystery. And miracles happen every day. Everyone out there is unique. We are all unique. I am a miracle, and you are too.
So tell us, we have another question that the student was asking about the insurance. Going through this multiple treatments and chemotherapy, radiation, what insurance did you have for these procedures?
That's an excellent question. And my husband and I have always been small business people. We've always had a small business. And so we've always had to have insurance, medical insurance, not paid for by a company. And so we've always been astute shoppers of medical insurance. But we would always make sacrifices to pay our medical insurance. And in 2005, I took out a catastrophic policy for my family through United Healthcare. And that policy even covered it covered all 5 of us, and it even covered my children until they were 26. And that that was in 2005. And it was a catastrophic policy, which said it paid everything above a certain amount of money. But you know, with stage 4 cancer, you walk in a cancer center and you breathe the air, and you're at your minimum.
Yeah. Yes. So cancer, in your experience with cancer, affects every portion of your life and the people who are connected to you. Would you say that's correct?
It certainly does. And that's one of the reasons I took on this challenge of this walk is, yes, it's overpowering to me and overwhelming, but it's even more so to my family. And just like I want my family to be healthy and happy, they want me to be healthy and happy. One of the things in the deserts is this prospector wrote, melancholy is useless here. And that's what I found as I was walking along the old mission trail, the things that happen to you. Melancholy in life is often useless. But if we want to overcome our melancholy, sometimes we have to change our environment. Mm-hmm. And my family, I feel, has realized the power that they have of choice in seeing, hopefully, how I've responded to this. And I've tried to take the burden off of them so that they're free to live their life, not that they're living my disease with me, because I don't want that. Me being captive and under siege from cancer is bad enough. I don't want it to hold my family hostage.
Do you have future missions or walks you want to do next?
You know, I love to walk so much, and I walk every day. I actually walk in the canyons every day. I have to inflate my lung. Had I not walked this morning, I would hardly be able to speak right now. But I'm fully energized. My cells are alive from a very aggressive, energetic walk this morning. And when I'm walking, I'm communicating with. I'm feeling spiritually. I'm just filled with spiritual power as well as physical and emotional power. And yes, I love to walk. And the old mission trail really goes on forever. It goes across New Mexico. It goes across Arizona. It goes across Texas. And you know, when I'm laying at night and I'm falling off to sleep and the dreams are coming, sometimes in my dreams I see that old mission trail and I see it going east toward the morning sun, and I smile and I think, maybe.
Interesting.
And where can our listeners find your book, The Mission Walker?
I'm very lucky because The Mission Walker is published by HarperCollins Thomas Nelson, and they've done just an excellent job of making it available. It's everywhere. It's in your library. It's in local bookstores. Of course, it's online at Amazon. You can get it in 2 days, free shipping on Amazon like everything else. It's at Target, Walmart, online. It's available in hardcover. It's an ebook through Apple. It's an audio book through Audible. It's a CD. So it's available everywhere, and it just gives me the greatest pleasure when I hear from people who've read The Mission Walker. And I do want to say that it was just recently, last week, the publisher received word that it was nominated for 2018 Audie Award as the best inspirational book.
Wow, congratulations.
This book is very inspiring, and we want to thank you for coming back a second time talking to our audience about this wonderful book of Mission Walker and how you defied cancer, in my view, and I think that is very inspirational for the listening audience. So we want to thank you, our guest, Edie Littlefield Sundby, for being with us again today, and we want to thank you, the listening audience, for listening to Your Family's Health.